5:30 in the east, 2:30 in the west, and 4:30 here in southwest Alabama and northwest Florida, where we have multiple rounds of significant severe weather possible in the next 72 hours. Hi, I'm Spinks Megginson. Thanks so much for checking out our live Facebook event discussing the multiple rounds of severe weather possible in the next few days. This is a live look at our live radar right now, and you can see that we've already got thunderstorms on the board in Clark and Washington counties and extending back here into southeast Mississippi. These storms are producing heavy rain and some lightning as they move off to the northeast. The good news is these storms, for now at least, are under severe limits. We'll put this into motion for you, and you can see that, again, all of this activity is gradually working its way to the east, but there definitely is a northward component of motion with the given thunderstorms. And over the past few hours, we've actually had a good bit of rain across central Alabama. Lots more rain in places like Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, and Anniston than down here in southwest Alabama and northwest Florida. Let's go ahead and travel to central Alabama so that you can get some idea of what they've been dealing with today. And this is a live look at the radar again, the composite radar across the state. You can see that we've got a heavier band of rain moving through the Birmingham metro, and so a wet go of things for the folks that have rush hour here in Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, over to Anniston, a heavier band of rain there in Blount County, extending down into Jefferson and Shelby counties. And again, all this action is working its way to the east. And so if you happen to be watching from central Alabama right now, it's going to be a wet go of things over the next several hours. However, in these regions, places like Coleman down to Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, understand the severe weather risk over the next 6 to 8 hours basically is significantly lower across the central part of Alabama. We'll go back to the southern side of Alabama and look at southeast Mississippi and southwest Alabama. Again, there's that heavier band of rain that's ultimately going to be working its way into Mobile and Washington counties at about 5 o'clock. And so at around 6 o'clock, when this thing moves through the city of Mobile, lots of travel headaches. If you don't need to be traveling, certainly don't, across Mobile and Washington counties as this heavier band of rain moves through in the next 2 hours, basically. Ultimately, this line of storms is going to continue working its way to the east. Now, we also should note that we have storms on the board right now. Again, in Washington and Clark counties, you've got US 84, US Highway 43, State Highway 56 in Washington County, where all of this heavier rain is. But again, the good news is these storms, at the moment anyway, are under severe limits. Out here towards Milry and Chatham in the northern part of Washington County, a very rural part of Alabama, here along the Tombigbee River near Thomasville. And again, these storms are working their way to the northeast under severe limits for now. We also should note that we've got a few showers in northwest Florida over here in Santa Rosa and Okaloosa counties. You can see a heavier shower there just to the north of Destin along State Highway 85 that connects Crestview down to the beaches. And also we've got a heavier shower there near Pollard and McCall that's moving off to the northeast along the US 3129 corridor that runs south of Bruton. Again, all of this action remains under severe limits. However, the atmosphere is going to become more unstable in the next few hours, and thus we could see potentially a watch or warning be issued. And so, of course, if we have tornado warnings, we will, of course, bring those to you right here on Facebook in our live platform. And one final view of the storms across the region. Again, most places quiet for now, but certainly weather going to take a downhill dive as this line of storms continues working its way to the east. Let's go over to a different source so you can see what's going to happen over the next several hours. This is a model, the high-resolution rapid refresh model, and this is valid at 5 o'clock. And so what we're doing here is putting the future radar on, basically. And you can see that at 5 o'clock, most of the action is still going to be well to the west of most spots in southwest Alabama. Here's 6 o'clock and 7 o'clock. You note most of the action has shifted into our region, and if this model happens to be correct, it shows lots of heavy rain across Baldwin counties, extending down to Dauphin Island and Mobile County, with some lighter action out ahead of the main line of storms. We'll advance the model forward in time. This is valid at 9 o'clock, and again, if this happens to be correct, we're looking at very heavy rain across the region, so if you need to, or if you don't need to be traveling, certainly don't do so in the next few hours. If you're not a fan of driving in heavy rain and that sort of thing, and storms, lots of storms likely across our region tonight, some of which could be strong, maybe an isolated severe storm. The Storm Prediction Center has included all of our area in the standard slight risk zone, as you'll see in just a minute. However, the good bit of news with this is that at midnight, and this is midnight off the HRRR model, you can see that most of the action has shifted well to the east. And so the good news is after we get through the heavy rain and storms in the evening hours, the overnight, we go much more quiet. So let's go to a different source. And I want you to comment. This is something new that we're doing. Comment where you are if you're watching the live video. That's just a fun way to see where everyone is watching from. And again, you can do that in the inline comments here on Facebook. Let's talk about the convective outlook. This is valid for the rest of today until 6 a.m. tomorrow. And you can see that the Storm Prediction Center has upgraded much of the area into the level 2 slight risk zone to potentially see a few strong to severe storms. You note that places like Monroeville, Evergreen, Greenville, Bruton, Crestview, Milton, Pensacola, Mobile, Loxley, Gulf Shores, Bay Minette, all included in the slight risk area. The risk is a bit lower back to the west due to the atmosphere being a bit more stable in places like Thomasville down to Chatham, Millry, places like that, still in a marginal risk zone. However, the greater risk is going to happen tomorrow in terms of severe weather. I think tomorrow night, on Friday night into the early morning hours of Saturday, we could potentially see a significant severe weather event. And I'll tell you this, I wouldn't be shocked to see the Storm Prediction Center upgrade at least part of this region into the enhanced risk categories. The atmosphere will be much more unstable and more conducive for the development of storms that could produce isolated tornadoes. Again, Friday night into Saturday. And then we have another threat to talk about Saturday night into Sunday. But let's talk about this first. Again, this is the Friday convective outlook. And you can see that much of our area already included in the slight risk zone, meaning all of the areas that you see here have a chance of seeing strong to severe storms. And again, this is going to happen later in the day on Friday. This is not the event tonight. Understand, we're dealing with 3 separate situations, and we're going to talk about the timing as well. Look at Saturday, though. The slight risk includes basically the southern southern 3/4, I should say, of Alabama, basically from Coleman all the way down to the Alabama and northwest Florida beaches. And again, I wouldn't be shocked to see some of this area upgraded into an enhanced risk zone. So serious severe weather possible in the next 72 hours. Now, let's talk about timing. The whole system is out of here by Sunday. You can see that the 15% probability slight risk zone is to our east as the system advances out of here. Let's talk about timing, though, for tonight. Again, rain going to begin and end from west to east. And so if you're in places like Mobile, rain going to start around 6 p.m., but it also ends sooner around 9 p.m. Whereas if you're farther to the east, places like Atmore, Bruton, Evergreen, rain not likely to begin until 7 or 8 o'clock. However, that band of rain going to take its time moving through, and I wouldn't be shocked if it didn't finish raining until after midnight in some of our eastern locales. Temperatures consistently in the upper to mid-60s by midnight. A wet go of things in the next several hours across southwest Alabama and northwest Florida. The good news is our severe weather threat level today is lower. The damaging winds are going to be the main concern in the stronger storms. And large hail, flash flooding, and tornado potential tonight is low. Now, tomorrow, those risks go up, and the tornado potential tomorrow is going to be medium to high. And understand, with the atmosphere being unstable, I wouldn't be shocked to see a few tornadoes and the stronger storms. And again, this is valid basically 3 p.m. Friday to 3 a.m. on Saturday. That's when these risks will be. And on Saturday and Sunday, I've just put significant for all 3 of the risks because it's yet another round of severe weather. We're talking basically 3 p.m. Saturday to 3 a.m. Sunday with this event. And again, we'll get more specific with that with time. Right now, no active tornado warnings, and our severe weather threat does continue over the next few days. I'm going to take me off the screen so that you can see exactly how to get involved with our RedZone Weather text program. It's a free notification service that we offer. And again, if you're not involved in this, I would encourage you to follow the directions on your screen, get involved, and also follow us on Twitter. At RZWeather is the handle on Twitter. Minute-by-minute updates over on Twitter about the impending severe weather. So timing. Now, today, the damaging wind threat, again, is your highest threat of our 3 modes of severe weather. Tornado is going to become possible, though, on Friday night into Saturday, and then again Saturday afternoon through Sunday morning. And so there's your 3 times that we could see severe weather. Now, many people are going to be asking, well, should I travel, should I not? Let's talk about this, because if you are in southwest Alabama or northwest Florida, travel is not advised between 3 p.m. on Friday to 3 a.m. on Saturday. And then again, from 3 p.m. on Saturday to 3 a.m. on Sunday. At the moment, those are your 12-hour windows in which severe weather is most likely in our part of the world. And now is the time to prepare. I did a weather presentation earlier today in Atmore, Alabama, and we talked about 3 of the things that you can do to be prepared. First, have a way to receive those urgent weather warnings. RedZone Weather text is great. Also, a weather radio. You also want to have a helmet or a cook pot to protect your head during tornadoes. And last but not least, don't forget about those whistles, air horns, and closed-toed shoes. All of those things you can do now to prepare yourself for this dangerous weather that could happen in the next few days. Now, let's go back to the radar, and we will conclude with this. Again, here's your main line of storms moving through Jackson, George, and Greene counties in Mississippi. We've also got some heavier showers up here in the northeastern part of Washington County, northwestern Clark, approaching Thomasville from the west. Lots of heavy rain about to begin in Tallahassee Springs, Midway, and Thomasville over in Clark County in the next few hours. And I have to say this too, pardon my voice, I am battling some sinus issues and probably will be during this potential severe weather event that's going to transpire over the next 72 hours. So bear with me. We're going to continue to do our coverage even if my voice goes out, and a wet go of things across the state over the next few hours. Again, severe weather risk for central Alabama remains low. It's higher down here over southwest Alabama and northwest Florida, but for now, we don't have any active warnings or watches. Again, severe weather possible Friday night into Saturday, and then again, Saturday evening into Sunday morning. We will keep you posted on all of it. For minute-by-minute updates, at RZ Weather on Twitter. We will be back as necessary here on Facebook Live to bring you the latest. On behalf of all of us at RedZone Group LLC, I'm Spinks Megginson saying goodbye for now.